In this video, we are going to talk about top 10 movies of all time, so before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for the future updates. Here's a list of the top 10 movies of all time. Let's start. Number 10. La Dolce Vita, 1960. Made in the middle of Italy's boom years, Federico Fellini's runaway box office hit came to define heated glamour and celebrity culture for the entire planet. It also made Marcello Mastroianni a star. Here, he plays a gossip journalist caught up in the frenzied, freewheeling world of Roman nightlife. Ironically, the movie's portrayal of this milieu as vapid and soul-corrodingly hedonistic appears to have passed many viewers by. Perhaps that's because Fellini films everything with so much cinematic verve and wit that it's often hard not to get caught up in the delirious happenings on screen. So much of how we view fame still dates back to this film. It even gave us the word paparazzi. Number 9. Titanic, 1997. These days, it seems like that nonsense backlash is dying. Pure and simple, strong and true, Titanic is one of the most extraordinarily entertaining of all films, a bar-setting masterpiece of the craft. In a highly publicized ordeal quite similar to the production of Disney's Folly, James Cameron bet the farm on a meticulously detailed epic pitched as Romeo and Juliet on the Titanic. The budget was record-breaking, the production turbulent. It looked like Titanic would be a disaster movie in a cynical sense. Instead, it became an instant classic. Any backlash in the decades since is, frankly, unfounded. Particularly in its second half, Titanic is spellbinding in a way few pictures have even aspired to be. Number 8. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. Starting with a dissolve from the Paramount logo and ending in a warehouse inspired by Citizen Kane, Raiders of the Lost Ark celebrates what movies can do more joyously than any other film. Intricately designed as a tribute to the craft, Steven Spielberg's funnest blockbuster has it all: rolling boulders, a barroom brawl, a sparky heroine, Karen Allen, who can hold her liquor and lose her temper, a treacherous monkey, a champagne-drinking villain, Paul Freeman, snakes, why did it have to be snakes, cinema's greatest truck chase and a barnstorming supernatural finale where heads explode. And it's all topped off by Harrison Ford's pitch-perfect Indiana Jones, a model of reluctant but resourceful heroism. Look at his face when he shoots that swordsman. In short, it's cinematic perfection. Number 7. Star Wars, 1977. Like all the greatest phenomena, Star Wars came out of nowhere. Following the success of 1973's American Graffiti, USC alum George Lucas switched gears and pieced together a fantasy space opera with wildly varied inspirations, including 1950s sci-fi serials like Flash Gordon, spaghetti westerns, and Akira Kurosawa samurai pictures like The Hidden Fortress. Every movie studio except Fox passed on the unusual project, and though the troubled production made some fear of flop, Star Wars surpassed Jaws to become the highest-grossing film of all time, influencing every blockbuster in its wake. Star Wars was nominated for 10 Oscars and won 6. It's everything we want a blockbuster to be, and all these years later it still works as a self-contained film. Even on the millionth watch, you want to stand up and cheer when reluctant hero Han swoops in to save the day in the climactic moments. Number 6. Jeanne Dielman, 23, Quai du Commerce, 1080 Bruxelles, 1975. Long considered a feminist masterpiece, Chantal Akerman's quietly ruinous portrait of a widow's daily routine, her chores slowly yielding to a sense of pent-up frustration, should take its rightful place on any all-time list. This is not merely a niche film, but a window onto a universal condition, depicted in a concentrated structuralist style. More hypnotic than you may realize, Akerman's uninterrupted takes turn the simple acts of dredging veal or cleaning the bathtub into subtle critiques of movie-making itself. Pointedly, we never see the sex work Jeanne schedules in her bedroom to make ends meet. Lulling us into her routine, Akerman and actor Delphine Seyrig create an extraordinary sense of sympathy rarely matched by other movies. Jeanne Dielman represents a total commitment to a woman's life, hour by hour, minute by minute. And it even has a twist ending. Number 5. The Wizard of Oz, 1939. Endearingly colorful characters vibrantly performed. How incredible is Judy Garland here? Classic music, including arguably the 20th century's greatest song, timeless humor, thrills and tenderness make MGM and Victor Fleming's musical fantasy an enduring masterwork, one that just does not age. The Library of Congress says this is the most watched movie ever, and that isn't surprising. It isn't hyperbolic to say this is the best family film in history and the best fantasy film. Exciting, touching and big-hearted, The Wizard of Oz is the picture we most look forward to sharing with future generations. Number 4. Citizen Kane, 1941. Back in the headlines thanks to David Fincher's brilliantly acerbic making of drama Mank, Citizen Kane always finds a way to renew itself for a new generation of film lovers. For newbies, the journey of its bulldozer of a protagonist, played with inexhaustible force by actor-director Wunderkind Orson Welles, from unloved child to thrusting entrepreneur to press baron to populist feels entirely au courant. In unconnected news, Donald Trump came out as a superfan. You can bathe in the film's groundbreaking techniques, like Greg Toland's deep focus photography, or the limitless self-confidence of its staging and its investigation of American capitalism. But it's also just a damn good story that you definitely don't need to be a hardened cineast to enjoy. Number 3. Casablanca, 1942. As time goes by, Casablanca remains one of the most unanimously adored and celebrated movies ever. Not least among the reasons why is the adapted screenplay by Julius J. Epstein, Philip G. Epstein and Howard Koch, frequently touted as the smartest, most quotable script ever written. And there's the romantic chemistry between Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart. A big reason we all love this movie so much is how proud we are of the characters in the end. Rick and Ilsa prioritized the greater good and put a human face on the sacrifices made during wartime, even those made off the battlefield. The greatest generation, indeed. Casablanca's messages about seeing things bigger than yourself and doing what's right will always resonate with audiences. Never pass up an opportunity to rewatch one of the highest highs of Hollywood history. Number 2, 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968. The greatest film ever made began with the meeting of two brilliant minds, Stanley Kubrick and sci-fi seer Arthur C. Clarke. I understand he's a nut who lives in a tree in India somewhere, noted Kubrick when Clarke's name came up, along with those of Isaac Asimov, Robert A. Heinlein and Ray Bradbury, as a possible writer for his planned sci-fi epic. Clarke was actually living in Ceylon, not in India, or a tree, but the pair met, hit it off, and forged a story of technological progress and disaster, hello, hell, that's steeped in humanity, in all its brilliance, weakness, courage and mad ambition. An audience of stoners, wowed by its eye-candy Stargate sequence and pioneering visuals, adopted it as a pet movie. Was it not for them, 2001 might have faded into obscurity, but it's hard to imagine it would have stayed there? Kubrick's frighteningly clinical vision of the future, AI and all, still feels prophetic, more than 50 years on. Number 1. Vertigo, 1958. These are the confessions of the greatest of all filmmakers, the master himself. Beyond its incomparable artistic merits, Vertigo is the ultimate cinematic indictment of what we now call toxic masculinity. Vertigo was a critical and commercial failure when it was released. This is Alfred Hitchcock's most personal work, a complex statement on manhood and obsession, a staple of film school curriculums. From a purely technical standpoint, it's as intoxicating a piece of pure cinema as any, thanks to Bernard Herrmann's stirring, hypnotizing score and Robert Burke's cinematography, which ingeniously uses color to add layers of meaning to the narrative. Audiences in 1958 weren't ready to embrace lovable good guy James Stewart playing against type as a deeply troubled individual in the throes of despair, but he is brilliant here, the casting inspired. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.